Okay, kit review time. Today we've got Meng's new Ford F350 truck. This is 1/24 scale, something a little bit different. As you can see, it comes in this nice sort of sheath box, okay, little protector cover, it's quite nice. Okay, lovely box art, as you can imagine, 1/24 scale, super duty crew cab, obviously it's twin. I presume it's obviously endorsed by Ford and all the things that go with it, as you can imagine. It's nice little pictures all the way round. Kit number is CS001. Some nice details at the back there. 2014, the important bit, and everything else just like that. So, in the box we get a very stuffed full of all the bits you see. Plenty in here going on, which is great. So let's just start in here. So, straight up we've got, I'm assuming this is pre-cut. Yep, so we've got a pre-cut, which is quite a nice touch here for the actual instrument, sorry, the windscreen, okay, all the way around there. So that'll save you a little bit. I presume you don't get anything else. Okay, we've got a very nice set of decals as well. So that's not too bad. All right, so usual thing, got instrument panels and the vehicle things. We've got here, which is, I haven't seen anyone do this for a while, but we've got here self-adhesive mirrors. Okay, so obviously for the rear view mirror and the rest of them. So another nice little touch. And we've got the old Chinglish instructions. Okay, so usual thing, we've got some gumph about the actual truck itself, working our way through. Obviously we speak about here, about obviously the die cut masking set, but also about the electroplated parts, which has obviously got a lot in there, I should imagine. All right, so we can talk about that in a moment. What you've basically got is the standard, just drop the camera down a little bit closer, you can see, so working on brake hubs, so we've got the actual poly caps in there, which is quite a nice touch, means the wheels come on and off, making the chassis right the way through. Obviously the sub-assemblies, various things going on with the suspension and the track and everything else like that. Wheels going on, fuel tank in, nice work on the engine. It's one of those kits I think it'll lend itself quite well because you can do a lot with it. Okay, a little bit of detailing up yourself with the wiring perhaps. Usual things going on down here. Then we're making our way into the interior with the dashboard. You know, there's so much you can do with vehicles where you don't, when you're dealing with aircraft day to day and everything else, things like flucking and everything like that is where you actually put in like a carpet effect and all those things. There's lots of things like that out there. If you haven't done vehicles before, have a look because it does go on. Okay, windows and all the glass work going in, as you can imagine, and that's it. Obviously talking about where we've got our the actual die cut set to go in that one. Mirrors, handles, things like that all going in. Actual bonnet system, wipers, these are those mirrors that we spoke about earlier. Side steps, obviously the bumpers, or fenders, depending where you are in the world. Okay, and then obviously we've got the wings, the actual bed itself. Okay, right the way through, very nice stuff. Nice touch having the bed as a separate fit as well, and obviously you can have the bonnet open, which after you've done all that work with the engine you'd probably want to do. Okay, then you've got the colour call outs. I wonder if these are genuine colour call outs, but anyway, obviously black, your red, your green, but I presume you could do it any colour you like really at the end of the day. So what do we actually get in here? First up, as I say, I haven't looked in these before, so it's all new to me. We've actually got the actual cab itself, which actually looks very, very nicely done. It's obviously a one-piece mould just out at the bottom, but it's actually quite a nice effect. Don't take any notice of this sort of webbing and things going on there like that, because quite frankly that doesn't mean anything at all. It just means it's just the way it's moulded in, but certainly as for the rest of it, quite a nice touch. Some nice details, the grille work, things like that. It's just that it's a quite complex shape. If you imagine that's injection moulding, to get detail on the side all the way around, basically all the way around it, isn't easy, and the rear as well. So if you imagine the mould sort of coming in from everywhere to do that, so quite a nice touch with that one. Glasswork we'll look at last. Okay, electroplated plastic. It's a bit like chroming. Basically, they put a voltage through it. The particles are, I think they're negatively charged or positively, one or the other. Anyway, they're attracted to it, which gives you the effect of chrome, which sounds lovely, and to be honest, as you can see here, looks absolutely stunning. The trouble is though, as soon as you come at it with glue, or obviously when you take them off with a sprue, you get plastic underneath, because I take it is, and we'll have a quick look, when you get through it, you've got standard, it's grey styrene underneath. Sometimes they do it clear, but this is grey styrene underneath. So what that actually means is you're going to get left with all these marks when you remove them. Now, depending on where they are, they can be nothing but a pain, or they can be quite handy because they're not actually anywhere that shows. And it looks like these are going to be pretty much off the scale. If you notice the way that they're actually attached to the sprues, like down here, it's on the back side of it, so you shouldn't have a trouble. A lot of people don't like this stuff, so what they actually do is strip it off. Now, how do you strip it? Quickest way to do it, slice your bag like I've done, but a little bit more carefully, okay? Pop your sprue in it, okay, if you have taken it out, all right? And then basically fill it up with an oven cleaner. Persil Power Spray in the UK is a great one for it, but you can put, I know people are putting full fat Coke into this as well, or your colas. Tip it in, seal it up, leave a small gap, okay, but only a small one because it will need to breathe, okay, and then leave it overnight. Every now and again, give it a shake around. I'll tell you what else does it, you can buy in the UK, and I'm sure you get around the rest of the world, is oven cleaner bags. They will do the same trick. Give it a good old rinse around, everything else like that. Next day, bung it in some hot soapy water and it'll all fall off and you're just left with plastic. Then you've got to try and rechrome it. So various options with buffables and things like that, but it is a way around that problem. Okay, into the engine. So we have the engine down here. So as you can imagine, we've got the grille, which seems to be very nicely detailed. To be honest, the engine's pretty much bland, but if it's anything like my lump outside I've got, you can't see it because it's under a plastic cover anyway. All right, but certainly everything seems to be quite nicely detailed. We've got quite a good look at the parts and everything else, as you can imagine. It seems to be very nicely done. No sign of really any problem with ejector pin marks. They're a little bit heavy, but I think they're probably going to be out of the way. They're not in any of the parts that show to be a problem. The seats, some interior detail we've got going on here. So here we have, we've got the roof lining going in there, pretty much nothing going on there. The seats, very bland. It's very difficult to sort of do fabric seats and all things like that, obviously in plastic, but those look a little bit two-dimensional, shall we say, perhaps a little bit chunky. I don't know what these are. Looks like they're supposed to be backs of the seats or something else like that, perhaps. Yeah, they are, the backs of the seats, all those parts there. But we've got, you might be able to see, we've got down here, we've got the steering wheel, we've got the foot pedals and everything else. Nothing that would jump out and excite you, to be honest. Okay, so here we have the underneath the main body. So this is the actual underside of the vehicle. We've got the instrument panel, which to be honest isn't exciting that much at all. Generally not too bad, but nothing to get excited. They've obviously taken off all the ejector pin tabs off for you. They would have been like this one down in here, which I might be able to get off. Try and get off. Okay, let me get him out. Here we go. So they just come off like that. They've done all that for you, which is quite a nice touch. But as you say, I know it's a vehicle, it's just, I don't know, I thought it might get a little bit more detail. Okay, so we've got a little bit going on here. So we've got the grille, as you can see, the floor pans, things like that. These are the side steps, sorry. We've got the mirror detail and everything else. You know, as you say, I don't know what I was expecting. I just thought it might be a little bit more detailed than this. But, you know, I suppose you add all those different parts yourself. But hopefully, as you can see, it's not too bad at all. I'm testing a new camera angle if you're wondering why you're on the left instead of the right. Okay, these bags are a bit weird as well. They're very thick. Okay, so we've got the hood or bonnet. Okay, check me out, you're bilingual. Quite nice. We got, I don't know if they're supposed to be, I don't know, as you say, they could be part of the furniture on the actual underside of the hood, or your bonnet system with these holes, or there could be ejector pin marks, not too sure. Bit nasty, got all these tabs to get rid of here, but at least they are sort of surface mounted tabs. Tailgate, the actual tail itself, again, quite a nice little touch there. Okay, and then Down here we've got the axles, relief springs, the exhaust system, poly caps. Okay, so big old springs on these, quite nice touch. Generally what you would expect. It's, if I'm honest, it's very clean and crisply moulded. That's the thing. It's nothing that you would actually could harp on about having a problem with. All the ejector pins are well out of the way, which is a nice touch. Okay, 2 sprues to go. So what do we have here? So coils. It would have been nice to have some metal coils, perhaps in this one. If it had some coils you could actually fit in and do. I have seen those in other kits. Transmission box down the back, the gearbox down there, that's pretty nice. The actual shaft itself, it's got the boots on it, things like that, again quite nice. Yeah, I don't know, it's just, I was expecting more. I don't know what you'd ever expect in a truck, but kit. But not being a truck kit person, I don't know what I was expecting. Okay, boot liner, or the tail liner, things like that. We've got the rear wings down here. Again, quite nicely done. It's almost done in a metallic plastic, which is really odd and weird, but there you go. Okay, but you say, nice touch with that, having the actual liner for the boot. I don't suppose a lot of point getting this one out here, although we will. The actual chassis itself. So we've got some quite nice details on these, as you can imagine, all over. No sign of any problem with ejector pins. I presume it's a one-piece ejected out the bottom here, but everything seems quite nice. No problems there. Okay, the glass. The important bit, or as I think, probably the most important bit of the kit. Okay, this is what I do like. They do wrap these in these little, sorry, I get mountain of bags in front of you here, in this clingy stuff, which is great because it can't get it off. Come on. Here we go. Come on, you've got to come off because I need to know what you're like. You could make or break this review. Okay, so looking down, not bad at all. I don't know if you can see that, but I can see no distortion in any of those or whatsoever. Even the headlights, they're pretty good, but there's no distortion in any of this glass. Catch it on all the angles here. Very nicely done. I have to say, hats off there, that's lovely. There's not a single blemish or a mark on there, so that's very, very nice. What I'm going to do is carefully put this back, because obviously later on I'm bound to make a hash of it and scratch it up or something. Okay, last up, the wheels. Okay, so as you can imagine, we've got rubber tyres. We won't get them all out. Nice and squidgy and flat, which is nice because it will give that effect of weight on wheels. Okay, we've got no centre seam in these at all. They seem to be very, very nice. Nice tread pattern. Okay, all the way through. No sign of any marks. So we've got little tiny dits out of it all the way round, which aren't anything wrong, but I imagine they might not sit on the hub particularly nicely. But as I said, I could be proven wrong on that. And they're trademarked as well. They are Continental tyres. So there we go, just something a little bit different, something I'm going to have a go at, because I'm a great believer in when you're modelling you can hide everything through weathering, i.e. you can actually get away with being quite bad at seam lines in your paint work, because all you do is put a little bit of weathering on it and you get around that problem. But certainly if you're doing something like a truck and you're having it as a pristine finish, and that's the type of effect I'm going to go for this, literally straight out of the showroom look, that we're going to want to make every joint perfect. We don't want any glue marks, we don't want any fingerprints. The paint job's got to be immaculate. So stay tuned to us, this will be appearing later in the year.